Okay, Saturday, 1st of November 2025. So, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Divergence rate. It is both easy and expensive to catch up. Now, I did an interesting video a few months ago about epistemic lag, and this is something that I've known about for a long time, and it kind of goes deeper into that in a more technical way. So, the rate of divergence is the speed at which two things are catching up. This thing is catching up to that thing. While this thing is making progress at, say, 1%, this is making progress at, say, 10%. So over time, they'll catch up sometime in the future. An interesting way to look at this would be one person is trailblazing, understanding like a country, an economy, is understanding the new concepts of an invention or technology, understanding the first principles, best practices, methodologies, etc. They're trailblazing the technology, and other countries in the future would just leapfrog old tech and catch up really fast. They would catch up and then they would slow down because they are then at the cutting edge of the technology and innovation. For example, mobile phones. One country could be, say, doing Morse code and telegraph and moving into, say, landline eventually, and then into mobile phones. So all they need is a mast. But other countries would not even bother at all with, say, the landline infrastructure and technological leapfrog straight into mobile phone networks. And landline are extremely rare or expensive or archaic. That's one example. So imagine also ice in the Arctic Circle. There is one ship, there's an icebreaker that's breaking the path, literally trailblazing, you could say, breaking holes and gaps through the ice so other ships can go through. That one is putting all the effort in to clear a gap, and all the other ships then just catch up. But when they're at the front, they have to slow down. But over time, as there's more path, they can continue going fast and moving onwards. The path is well established. That, but also at the same time, the further behind you are, technologically speaking, anything really you could argue about technology, the more expensive and costly it is to catch up. If you hold back from using the latest technology and you become what's called a laggard, or in the late majority, in the bell curve of adoption, early innovators, or early adopters, innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, laggards. If you're purposely delaying adoption of something so much, then to catch up to it becomes expensive. For example, if you don't use the internet for 20 or so years, there's been so many developments in that space with that technology. It takes so much time and energy to have to learn, as opposed to had you just kept up with it as it was developing, it would have just been, say, bite-sized chunks of information over 2.5 decades. Wow, that right there is the epistemic shock. Meaning, as things are progressing in life, say 1%, moving onwards, but you're down here, you're not making progress at all, you're stagnating, or things are going at 1%, but you're going at a tenth of a percent, and you're not going as fast or as far, over time that gap becomes so immeasurable, you have to catch up. You have to go from here to there in a short space of time in order to be competent, competitive, a challenge, a threat, a danger in a positive way, in order to not be so critically far behind. If you're using a Model T car and everyone's using the latest 2025, anything Hyundai or Toyota or Ford, the latest Ford actually, then you're behind. You're missing out. Opportunity cost, speed, infrastructure, technology, luxuries, you name it, infrastructure, insurance, and beyond. Yeah, powerful stuff. So the epistemic shock is how to go from that 1% growth here to that 0.1, how to go from here to catching up or exceeding it in as short a space of time as possible. Because to go from there to there in this much time is expensive and drastic and intense. But to go from here to catching up over here, or that amount of time, is much more doable if you can keep up with the pace. That is fundamental to understand with regards to technology and innovations and ideas and philosophies and understanding as the world progresses in its own way, new technologies, innovations, you name it, to what extent are you keeping up with the latest developments? too many delays, too many ums and ahs and indecision can mean it's going to be you will be critically behind the scene, no, behind the times, and you will not be as efficient, productive as you could be. Could be, ought to be, should be, really need to be, you name it. That's powerful. It's powerful because the further behind you are, the less competitive you are in the world, business and finance, whatever else. If you're not using the latest technologies, adopting the latest methodologies or pipelines or ideas or philosophies or you name it, you're not at that cutting edge. If you're not at the cutting edge, you're behind. And the longer you are behind, the worse it is for business. Not good. Not a good situation to be in whatsoever. Meaning, you're less competitive. You're less competitive, you're losing market share, you're losing attention, you're losing money, you're leaving more and more money on the table by inaction. In every way, in in ways that right now you haven't even learned or discovered because you haven't had that curiosity, that dragnet, for example, of taking all the data to realize there's a fact over there. This is this fact of science or fact of finance. There's new development over there that I need, but I don't know it. But I do need it as a matter of fact. You just haven't learned it yet. That's why, poetically, I like to say, I know everything. I know everything, I just haven't learned it yet. Meaning, I know everything as a matter of fact. It's just I haven't read the facts, haven't read the data, haven't discovered it yet, so to speak. But when I see it, I'll learn it and understand it and apply it and improve my life in some meaning and in some meaningful way. Powerful stuff. Very, very powerful, very, very useful. Yeah. But otherwise, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.